All right, welcome back. Josh Beater, Alex Goldman here for From the Stands today, joined by one of, in my opinion, one of the best bantamweight mixed martial artists of all time. The man who is returning to action this weekend, coming up against Kyogi, Horiguchi in a rematch. Sergio Pettis, thanks so much, mate, for the time. We really appreciate it. First things first, how are you on this fight week?
I feel good, man. I flew in yesterday to Japan, got here pretty early. So first day, just kind of got used to the time change, a little jet lagged, but today I just had my first session and everything was good, man. My weight's on point, my mind's on point, skills are sharp. Ready to go out there this Sunday and show the Japanese fans what I have.
Absolutely, man. And I guess, a number of you former Bellator guys will be on this card. Obviously, Juan Archuleta, Spike Carlisle, Johnny Case, to name a few. How important do you think that is to sort of for this PFL Bellator brand to continue this partnership with RIZIN moving forward? Because I think it's a wonderful partnership.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. First time being able to cross promote ever in my career. So going from Bellator and having this opportunity over at RIZIN was a blessing. I think hopefully it opens the doors for more companies doing that. It's cool to see other fighters from other countries have opportunities elsewhere and just testing their skills. So yeah, what an opportunity, and I hope Bellator and PFL continue to keep on doing this, man.
Definitely. Sergio, I want to know, as someone who has a Taekwondo black belt, I'm curious, do you think that the more traditional martial arts are being abandoned and overlooked by this next generation of mixed martial artists that are coming up in terms of the value that those traditional martial arts can add to your game?
Yeah, I think the MMA dynamic is changing in general. I think it's the styles are, I don't know, I kind of feel like it is kind of like has a blend. Like there's some fighters that do it, some younger fighters I am seeing like throwing these kind of Japanese style knees, like more karate style stuff. So I mean, I don't know. There's some fighters that are doing it, some that aren't. So I think it's cool to see. I think it just brings a new dynamic to the sport. Just keeping things exciting and traditional. That's something that I always try to do. I came up from a Taekwondo background, so adding that into the skill set is always important. The stuff that it teaches you too. The discipline, the self respect, the self esteem. I think that's something that all martial artists should have.
Absolutely. Sergio, obviously, Horiguchi is obviously a legend in the sport of mixed martial arts. And, you guys are coming back for a rematch now after your first fight in 2021, which you won with that crazy spinning back fist. What I will ask is, what do you think Horiguchi will do differently in this fight? What are you expecting from him as you head into this rematch? Obviously, rematches can be good for guys that have lost because they can learn what they did differently. What are you expecting from him this Sunday?
I think this Sunday he's going to push the pace a little bit. We only have 3 rounds this time, so if he's going to try to pick off where he left off, I think that's something that would be him and his team will do. Try to wrestle me, try to put me against the ropes, so I don't have as good takedown defense as I would off the cage. Just putting me in uncomfortable situations, how he did once before. So I mean, that's how I see it possibly going. Or he could be, having a trick up his sleeve, like, oh, I'm gonna fake the takedown and I'm actually gonna bang with you this time. He doesn't have as much space, as in the cage. You have a lot more space. The ring, we're kind of forced to fight. So we'll see how things go, man. I'm ready for either way. The first time we fought, I was expecting a stand up war, a stand up exchange, and he did the complete opposite of that. So I don't want to expect a wrestling exchange, and now he does a complete opposite of what I'm expecting. So I'm ready for it all this time, man. I'm ready for it all.
What's up, guys? It's Josh here from the stands. And look, I know you're in the middle of a good little interview that we're currently doing, but I want to take a second of your time just to give a quick little shout out to today's sponsor, TrainAid. Obviously, they're big supporters of us, like we are of them. And today they're sponsoring this video. And look, I want to let you guys know about a little product they do. Their premium product, TrainAid Hydration. It's the best hydration formula on the market, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. And look, if you don't believe me, ask guys like Israel Adesanya, Alexander Volkanovski, Leon Edwards. You ever heard of these guys? I mean, they're the top athletes in the world. And they're all taking TrainAid Hydration. It really is the #1 formula in the world for hydration. And in the summer months here in Australia, I mean, it's something that I think everyone should be taking. And TrainAid have been very nice to give us a discount code, a very healthy discount code as well. I mean, it's a nice little discount code. If you use the code FTS15 at the checkout, they will give you 15% off. We'll leave a link to their website in this description of this video. And check them out, guys. Please support them because they are supporting us. Cheers.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of branching off that then, is it harder to motivate yourself for a rematch that you've already won? Or are you able to motivate yourself by looking to show the world how you've improved since that last fight?
100%. I didn't really, like I said, I didn't check off all the marks that I could have in that fight. And he showed the holes in my game. He showed where I'm slacking with my wrestling and my takedown defense, and just having somebody on my back in general, which Patchy Mix took advantage, some motherfucker. But but yeah, man. We both learned a lot from that fight, and I still feel like I wasn't too. I was happy with the spinning back fist. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, there's a lot more that I could have done and shown, and now I get 3 rounds to do it. I don't got to wait 5. So I'm expecting a war, man. To be honest, I want to go out there and push the pace, and I think I'm more excited for this fight than I was for the first one. It's a whole new rule set: the stomps, the kicks, the soccer kicks. There's something that I watched Pride growing up, so it's like now it's my turn to go out there, and this is also my 30th fight. I'm 30 years old, first time having a rematch, first time in Tokyo. I'm motivated, especially after that last fight. I was going through some mental battles and some physical battles, and this time there's no battles. It's just pure martial arts and pure love for the sport.
Absolutely, man. And sort of touching on that, it's incredible that you've only just, you're about to turn 30. It feels like you've been in the sport for a decade because you have. And it's insane that, people forget that you made your UFC debut at 20, which is very, very, very rare these days. Obviously Jake Matthews fought on the weekend. He debuted at 19. So you're in a very rare class. And with that, your career has seen you go from the UFC, PFL, Bellator, now this RIZIN hybrid sort of thing. You're one of the few guys that has fought across multiple organizations. Do you feel like you're sort of entering your prime physically and mentally now when you look back on the last 10 years?
100%. The way that I treat the sport and treat myself is a lot different from when I was a young kid. When I was 20, I didn't believe in myself, man. I was just kind of going out there and putting my skills to work. I didn't have that mindset, that mentality, or that seriousness. I was at the time still partying and kicking it, trying to figure out who I was. Nowadays, as a 30-year-old man, I know who I am. I know what I want. I have a beautiful wife that supports me and keeps me home and keeps me motivated too. So yeah, life has been a lot different, man. And I do feel like I'm entering my prime now, and I'm get to go and travel the world. That's something I've been wanting to do with my whole life. I've been wanting to go to Japan, wanting to go to other countries overseas. I've only got a chance to fight in Mexico City and Canada. So yeah, this was cool, man. Flying 13 hours, first class time, first time in first class.
Yeah.
There's a lot of firsts I got to check off this list, man. It was what a blessing.
Yeah.
In one of also the most well-known mixed martial arts countries in the world, like the most historic country you get to fight in. What's that like?
It's been awesome, man. I checked into the hotel yesterday, and they're like, the old fighters in Pride would stay at this other hotel, but Mirko Crow Cop would stay at the hotel you're staying in.
Nice.
And I loved watching Mirko Crow Cop. I was like, that's legendary, man. I'm like, I'm in the history of it. Like what I grew up watching. Now I get to watch myself go out there and compete, and the next generation gets to watch me and hopefully get motivated like I did.
For sure. I wanted to ask you, Sergio, as a younger of 2 brothers myself, I know the role that, your brothers can play in your life, especially your early life, beyond just beating you up in video games and beating you up when you mess around. But, I'm curious if you could sort of speak to the influence and the impact that both Anthony and Ray have had on your life, not so much as a fighter, but as a person.
Yeah, man. So my dad actually was murdered when I was 10 years old. And so both my brothers, they picked up that role of being a father figure. My brother Ray taught me, some things. He taught me love. He taught me, just how to be happy. And my brother Anthony taught me how to, really trust yourself, believe in yourself, chase your dreams. So it's been amazing to have both my brothers be my instructors as well. They were my coaches growing up. They were my Taekwondo instructors. And Anthony brought me over to mixed martial arts because I was a soccer kid growing up. So I was actually starting off to do mixed martial arts just to get tougher and learn how to really defend myself. I remember the first time I'm actually hitting pads with Anthony. I'm like 13 years old. I don't even know how to hold Thai pads. He blasts the Thai pads, and my elbow hit myself in the stomach. I knocked the wind out of myself. I'm crying and shit. And I'm like, man, looking back at it, I'm so happy that I went on this journey. It made me a better man, and just the man that I should be.
Absolutely. Sergio, what are some goals you have left in your career before it's all said and done? Like, after this fight against Horiguchi, do you plan on sort of trying to hunt that Bellator bantamweight title and that rematch with Patchy Mix again? Is that something that's a focus for you? What are some focuses for you in this year and the years that follow?
Yeah, this year, honestly, I want to get 3 fights in. I know I'm starting a little late with the just June fight, but there's an opportunity back in Bellator and PFL. I can't say anything yet, but yeah, you guys will hear about it soon. But I do want that belt again, man. I think a world champion can lose something and get it back. And you know, we've seen it with GSP before, and that's somebody I looked up to. And I think I can get it back, man, with the right mentality and the right work set. Last camp, I was just, like I said, going through some things mentally, physically, that nobody knows about besides myself and my team. And whatever, it is what it is. Patchy was the better man that night, and put me in a submission. So yeah, hats off to Patchy. But I learned a lot from that fight and from that experience. And yeah, I'm hungry still, man. At 30 years old, I feel like I'm more hungry now. I feel I have a lot more things to do before I give up the sport. I hopefully have another 8 to 10 years.
For sure. And that kind of leads into my last question. You say you've got a lot of things left to do. We're seeing more fighters sort of dip their toe outside of traditional MMA, particularly with the rise of bare knuckle, karate combat, ADCC, Craig Jones Invitational. And, I'm curious, do you have any plans on sort of engaging in any of those bouts outside of traditional MMA, or is that something you see later on in your career maybe?
No, it's something I would like to do, man. Honestly, I could see myself boxing. I've grown up boxing. Actually, that was something I wanted to do, and I feel like that's where I'm more comfortable, is like in the boxing realm. So I would love to do some boxing fights, even the karate combat fights. That's something I would love to do. I grew up doing taekwondo, so I'm like, fighting in a pit in front of a whole bunch of people sounds pretty badass.
Yeah.
So I'm open to a lot of the things, man. Right now, MMA is the main focus, of course, but I feel if I have a great year, some opportunities will open for me and some doors will open, and I'm ready to walk through all of them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Sergio, thank you so much for joining us today, man. It's been an absolute honor, both for Josh and myself, to be able to talk to you. As you say, you're someone that's been in the game for a while. We've both been watching you for a while, and we are both ecstatic to see you get in there again against Kyogi Horiguchi. All the best, man, leading up to that fight. We'd love to talk to you again in the future.
Oh, for sure. I'd love to talk to you guys again. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate you.
Of course.
Appreciate you, Sergio. Thanks, brother.
Have a good one, guys.